you're looking at that all the time, and it's affecting your mindset. It's affecting your mental space.
Welcome to the rabbit hole.
Yes.
Now we're in your domain now, though, right? So let's keep going down this rabbit hole, right? Let's go back to what we were talking about earlier. You're still running a business. You still have all your own training. You still have all this. You've managed this social media landscape obviously very well. So where do you see, not from the standpoint of building channels, right? Because I think that's really kind of hard, to start giving advice on what they really need to do, because everybody's different. Everybody's a personality. I think we can agree on the number one thing is their personality, to monetize who they are, not to be somebody else. Where do you see them screwing up as far as the draining of time, right? So let's say, you picked up the phone, it's a distraction.
Yeah.
Right? So that phone, it's a distraction, but it's also a way to monetize.
Correct.
It depends on how they use it.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword.
Exactly. So tell me about the sword, how you manage the sword.
I'm still trying to figure that out.
Okay.
I think I'm still trying to figure that out. I don't know. I can't tell you, because you could think like, okay, I'm going to only do business activities right now. I'm only going to respond to the correct things. I'm going to post. I'm going to walk away, and then I'm going to get work done. And wow, I just took 15 to 25 minutes to do a job, and now sales are coming in. But then you have to have the self-control, or at least some sort of, habits, quote unquote, in order to not look at it again, not check how are people responding, But at the same time, feedback. But at the same time, you have to go like, what is the feedback? Because I need the feedback in order to make my next move. So how often are you pinging for feedback there? You see what I'm saying? So finding a balance between being able to do the act, leveraging the social media and the technology that we have now, but also having the self-control and the hygiene, to be able to be present right here.
It's a good word. That hygiene. That's a good way to describe it.
But you've had to have learned some things, right? Yeah. So, like, what are a couple things that you've learned from that hygiene perspective that you have built into you created the habit for? Like, do you check your screen time?
No, I don't anymore, and I'll tell you why. The reason is because it takes me a while to edit my Instagram stories. If anyone actually, looks at my stories, there's text, there's shit that flies up. I sit there and I make that happen. I put a little bit more effort into it, because, what's the point of doing stories every day if no one watches them? So if you spend an extra 15 to 20% of your time on them to make them something that's entertaining and they're watching them, then it's better to put the extra 15 to 20% time to make them worth something than just not even do that and get zero return on your investment of time in that regard. But, you're asking, how do I control that? The screen time, for example, you asked me. Because the thing doesn't know, like, it'll tell me I spent like 11 hours on Instagram, the past, few days. Well, how much of that was editing stories, posting them, responding to people? And doing business through it, because it's also an inbox. It's also my email inbox. I'm doing, exchanges and purchases and, collabing and networking and scheduling through the app. It's not just me scrolling down my feed. So looking at a number and be like, man, I spent 11 hours on Instagram. It's Wednesday. Since Monday, I spent 11 hours on this app. This is ridiculous. Am I just another millennial that's stuck on his phone? Well, sometimes I am. Sometimes I'm sitting on the couch. My cat jumps up on me, and I'm just like, frick, man. No, I'm not getting up for another 15 minutes. You know what I mean? But then you just have to, realize, like, just don't do that as often.
Yeah.
It's not about cutting out the habit completely. It's not about completely getting out of it. It's just like, just do it a little bit less often to start with. From there, just recognizing it when it happens and being able to pivot.
So then there's the process of, say, TikTok, right?
Okay.
So if you wanted to go into TikTok, that's a bigger decision than just going into TikTok, right? Because you got to sit there and think, okay, how much time is this going to take? What's the leverage of that? Because it's not just like joining a network for you at that point.
Right.
Right. Because where's that time going to come from?
Yes.
Yeah, you need that content strategy going into every decision that you make going forward.
So I guess that's kind of where I'm going is you can't just jump on it because where's the time going to come from? Is it going to leverage off of, Instagram or YouTube? Where's it going to come from?
It's not. That's why I'm not on TikTok.
Exactly. There you go. I mean, there's kind of where I'm going here, right?
Yeah.
Is you're selectively looking at what could be that next platform, but then you have to sit there and think, is there the time to be able to do this and when to make the jump if that jump has to be made because you're going to have to jump off of something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To be able to do that.
It also has to, like the platforms as a content creator, you have to look at them from, is this different from this one? Because YouTube for me is long format videos.
Yes.
Those are things where people can actually listen to me talk about stuff. Instagram is more whiz bang, boom, whatever that crap it is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's fun in its own regard. So there's different uses. So it's like, okay, if I'm filming for YouTube, I might be able to get top-down footage that goes on Instagram. Or if I have an idea for something that goes on Instagram, I could extend it to a longer format, YouTube. So then I'm trying to look for crossover. But in terms of like, for example, TikTok, it's like, this seems like a Instagram thing. It's very similar. Where is the... You see them?
Yeah.
And of course, these platforms will completely inflate and saturate their user base with bots to give the user a feeling of satisfaction from, I got 600,000 followers on TikTok, you got to jump on. Yeah, how many of those are fake from the platform, inventing fake accounts to give the users the high that they're getting followers? You see what I'm saying? That's not regulated very well right now. They haven't begun regulating that as too much yet. So then it's like, is this even real? Like, what are you going to do to monetize that? Because it's like, it's not all about monetization, but at the same time, like,
kind of is. It's your time.
Yeah, it is my time. I would rather spend quality time, and some of these platforms help me do that. I'm with you right now because we're both doing things on these platforms.
Yes.
We both have things in common. We both like to talk to each other. It's cool. We both like powerlifting, lifting weights. Great. But aside from that, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't think people realize the amount of work it takes to create a YouTube video, right? It's not just you walking, right?
No, dude.
Like you plan this shit. It's like hours and hours of planning.
Yeah, well, it's not only that, but it's hours and hours of post. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it takes a long time to edit.
And if you travel somewhere,
I'm here. It took me 8 hours to drive here. You know, it takes 2 people. And then it takes more people, and then it takes more people. So by the time the first video drops next week of me and you working out in this gym, how many people can I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like that video took 6 people. Out of 3 different groups in order to get together, in order to make something that's going to be 15 minutes. It didn't take 15 minutes of time. There's your answer. It didn't take 15 minutes of time. It took an entire week of work.
And it's not just you and Sam walking around with a camera. Like it's a team effort on all
I'm taking that you've heard this before.
Oh, yeah.
That people are like, what do you mean? It only takes 10
that sounded
minutes.
like it was a button
Like
there.
he's getting a little fired up.
Yeah.
I like it.
No. It's just like...
Get the nose torque.
It says you get paid just to work out. That's what I get. That's the one that's like, so what do you do for a living? Like, you have no idea. That's okay. I'm not going to explain it. I'm just not going to answer it.
So what everybody sees is it's the tip of the iceberg, right?
Oh God. This is 10 times more work than my day job was.
Yes.
The good thing is I love it. You know what I mean? The thing about this is kind of like sidestepping, but from my experience, making a living being me, I'm Jujimufu. Making a living being me, and this is my passion. If I lost all my money doing this right now, or just like I couldn't get paid to do it anymore, I would still do it. I just wouldn't do as much of it. So in order to take it from point A, I'm not able to monetize myself, to point B, I'm making a great living being myself. I have to be myself more than I want to be. You have to do it more than you would want to do by default, that when you did it for fun, to where it becomes work.
Yeah.
So it's not just like, I love this so much. Like, sometimes it's like, I don't frickin' want to do this right now. But it has to be done.
It has to be done, yes.
Yeah.
It's like any other job.
Yeah. But that's not like it all the time, 'cause I like it a lot. Otherwise I wouldn't be doing it. So I like it more than I dislike it when I don't want to do it. So
that's the goal of any job you like.
Yeah.